Hi everyone. So today I'm going to take a close examination at Claire Massaud's novel, The Emperor's Children, but more specifically the character of Frederick Bootie Tubbs. While many people have claimed that this novel is a novel of manners or disillusionment within the superficiality of American culture leading up to and beyond the attacks on 9/11, we can see through the person of Bootie Tubbs, someone that falls in line quite readily with a Thomas Wolfe novel. It is the discovery and scrutiny of intellect and how it manifests itself. As a physical character, Bootie is a sullen yet bright young man who has dropped out of university due to what he calls the grind mill of human intelligence, or the land of lies. Massaud lays this out, his sentiments toward academia, quite clear in this passage. It is where you paid money to an institution and went out nightly to get drunk, instead of studying or reading the books, then tried to calculate some half-assed scheme by which you could cheat on your exams, and then, at the end of the day, presumably simply on account of your financial transaction between you, or more likely your parents, and said institution, you declared yourself educated. What is most important to note, however, is this is not a definitive critique of the institution itself, but of the young attendees. What we see then is Bootie's rejection, not of the academic institution as a whole, but the social reality underpinning it. The students are not students and thus cannot be taught and only recycle the works of others from the past to get the grade. Bootie's trajectory through the novel follows in suit to the line of this critique, and in fact, his character as a whole culminates as the embodiment of the critic, and points to us the inevitable question, what is critique? Bootie's entanglement with his early intellectual crush, Murray Thwaite, to whom he describes himself as a amanuensis, and the quasi-Nietzschean magazine editor Ludo Seeley, becomes the concrete tension between these two worlds of criticism. Well, more abstractly, both Murray and Ludo present themselves as two polar opposites of the critical spectrum. Thwaite assumes the role of the truth-finding activist critic of the 60s, and Seeley exports the idea of the deconstructive postmodernist critic. Between them, quite literally, Bootie is stuck holding the manuscript of Thwaite's, which he has recently critiqued. He is positioned in response to the text, through which he eventually denies both the critical system of Thwaite and Seeley. After the events of 9/11 occur, however, Bootie figuratively dies and becomes reborn as the day unfolds. He renames himself through a self-baptism in the hotel room. His new name, Ulrich New, an old first name juxtaposed against, quite literally, the new. Through this act of self-definition, Bootie, or Ulrich, becomes the particular critique of criticism that Massaud is attempting to lay out. When Ulrich says to Danielle at the end of the novel, "I'm just surviving. Frederick doesn't exist, and for me, for Ulrich, you don't exist. I don't have to explain anything." And the critic, in the wake of the intellectual shift of 9/11, where we came up against the real and instantaneous catastrophe of our architectural horizon, must do everything and anything. But what most is important is that it does not survive on principles or deconstructions, but merely survives to survive. A critic for Massaud, then, could be one of two things. The critic is no longer a viable option in the post-9/11 world, or that the critic must not be defined by a revolution, a prolongation of reification, but rather a revolition to our species as a whole. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll get back to more character analysis later.